fun fact, did you know Heard It From Hannah is now 2 years old? And second fun fact, did you know I still get nervous every time? Because I do. Howdy folks, welcome to Heard It From Hannah. Today we are going to dive deep into the Avalanche Method, which is the second of two very popular debt payoff methods, the first being the Snowball Method, which I will link above and below. Now, what is the Avalanche Method? Pretty simple in theory. You pay off your debts starting with the loan with the highest interest rate first, and then eventually work your way down to your loan with your smallest interest rate last. And then in order in between. Now, I would highly recommend watching this whole video and probably the whole Snowball Method video, but if you're wondering, just real quick and simple, what method is better for me? If you know that you really need that motivation of a quick victory, a short-term victory, the Snowball Method is the way to go for you. And if you find yourself to be more analytical and your bigger concern is saving more money in the long run, then the Avalanche Method might be the one for you. So let's go ahead and take a peek at what it would look like to use the Debt Avalanche Method and 7 steps to check off along the way. So your first step is creating a budget. I know that sounds really cheesy because we are a budgeting app, that is what we do, but I swear it's not because I'm biased. You really need a budget. I can't even take myself seriously. You have to have a budget to safely and responsibly pay off your debt because you need to be assured every single month that you have enough money to cover all of your living expenses. And you also need a budget to know how much money you even have left over to throw at your debt. Because if you asked any old schmo on the street, what are your expenses? They're gonna say rent, utilities, gas, and groceries. But you know what they probably aren't gonna say? They're probably not gonna say, oh, car repairs and home repairs and taking my dog to the vet. These aren't things we think of as our monthly and routine expenses, but truly, they are. They're totally inevitable expenses that are going to happen to us, and that's why we call them true expenses, because truly they are our expenses, even though they're not like the top of the brain ones. And it's so important that we budget for these true expenses because these are the ones that typically send us into debt. We don't go into debt buying groceries, we go into debt because we weren't prepared for the car to break down. And at the very minimum, if nothing else, have a small emergency fund. Because having our true expenses built up or an emergency fund underneath us, it's going to prevent us from having to take out new debt while we're paying off our old debt. Let me tell you, it's really hard to get rid of something when you keep accumulating it. And you can make a budget any way you want. A lot of people use spreadsheets. You can use a journal and a pen. We poured our heart and souls into designing what we feel is the perfect app for budgeting. It helps you thrive at saving, pay off your debt, make categories for every single individual expense in your life, and makes sharing a budget with a partner that much easier. So if you would like to learn more about using You Need a Budget, click the link below to start your free 34-day trial. Second step, you're going to add together the minimum payments on all of your debts, add that as an expense into your budget, and pay those minimum payments every single month. That seemed like a long step. Maybe that should have been more than one. I don't want there to be any confusion about this. No matter what debt payoff method you use, you have to make those minimum payments on every loan every single month. I also just have to say, while we're here, right now, making the minimum payments on your debts might be all you can do, and that is totally okay. But one day, you may find that you have a little bit of extra money left at the end of every month, and that's the money we're gonna use to implement the Avalanche Method. So the third step is you're going to arrange your debts by their interest rate from the highest interest rate to the lowest. So right here, I have myself some loans. We have a medical loan for $2,800, a credit card for $19,000, and an auto loan for $12,000. But remember, we're not worrying about the balance, it's the interest rate that we are interested in. So the medical loan actually has a 0% interest rate, thank you. The credit card, 24%, and the auto loan, 6%. That being said, we're gonna start by paying off the credit card, then we're gonna move to the car loan, and last, we're gonna finish with the medical loan. Fourth step, after all of our expenses are safely covered in our budget and we've paid the minimum payments on each of our 3 debts, any money I have left over that wasn't built into the budget or put toward these minimum payments, that's what we're gonna throw on top of our credit card payment. I have $80 left that I didn't build into my budget and I didn't use it to pay off one of these loans. So not only am I going to pay the $400 minimum payment for this credit card, but I'm gonna throw that extra $80 on top, making it a $480 payment. Now, just so you know the severity of a 24% interest rate, 24% of $19,000 is $4,560. Also worth noting that this credit card with this whole situation situation would have taken 12 years and 8 months to pay off if we only made the minimum payments every month. That's how intense a 24% interest rate is. And any extra money that we're able to throw at our credit card is going to send that overall balance down faster and faster, which means less interest is going to accumulate over time. We're just going to keep repeating this process every month, making sure all expenses are fully covered in our budget, making all the minimum payments on all of our debts, and then throwing any extra money we have at our debt with the highest interest rate. And eventually we'll get to the point where this bad boy, this credit card, he's paid off. Hallelujah. Pop a bottle of champagne or something, because that's like a huge deal. But when we do pay off that first debt, we're actually going to pause, because now we don't have to make this $400 minimum payment every month, which means we have $400 extra freed up now. Most people teaching you the Avalanche method would tell you to just start throwing it at the next debt with the next highest interest rate right away. But at YNAB, we like to do it a little differently, because why did you get into your debt in the first place? It's because we didn't have the money we needed for something at the time, so we had to borrow it from somewhere else. And if we just keep throwing our extra money that we free up at our debt, then we might actually end up in the same situation again. And Lord knows, the last thing I want to do is take out more debt. I just paid off a $19,000 credit card. No. If you feel like you are always living on the financial edge, then maybe we should take some of this $400 that we just freed back up again and put it toward those expenses that tend to send us into debt, or areas where we tend to run out of money. If your car is one of the things that keeps breaking down and making you have to take out more debt, then maybe we should take some of this $400 we just freed up and put it toward car repairs or a new car. So let's do that. Let's say for today's example, I'm gonna take $200 of this $400 I just got back to my name, and I'm gonna put that in my car repairs category. Then I'm gonna take the other $200 I just got back to my name, and I'm going to add it on top of my car loan, which is the debt with the next highest interest rate. So every month I'm gonna lather, rinse, repeat. I'm going to cover all my expenses in my budget. I'm gonna make all my minimum payments, and then any leftover money we have after the budget is filled out and the minimum payments are made is gonna go toward this debt with the next highest interest rate. So I'm gonna pay the $250 minimum, and I'm gonna add $200 on top of that, which means I'm gonna be paying $450 every month toward this car. Luckily, this is a 6% interest rate, so it's not going to accumulate quite as fast. If I only paid the minimum payment amount on this auto loan every month, it would take me 4 years and 8 months to pay it off. But now it's gonna take me like half the time, because I'm putting $400 toward it every month, which that's like a big deal. That's almost a double payment every month, right? Am I right? It's okay, you can clap. Then the next month comes, I'm gonna make sure all my expenses are covered in my budget, pay the minimum payments, and any money left over, gonna toss right back at this auto loan, until one day, it's gone too. Adios, see you later. And that brings us to our 7th step, which is keep repeating this process until one day all of those debts are gone. Now all I have left is this medical loan, which honestly at this amount and this minimum payment with no interest rate, this medical loan might be gone by the time I finish the other two, because it's so small and there's no interest accumulating. But let's, for the sake of the example, say that I still have like $1,000 left to pay on this medical loan. Follow that process again. Cover all my expenses in my budget, make my $125 minimum payment on this final medical loan. And now that the auto loan's gone, I'm gonna repeat step 5 again. I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna say, wait a second, should I send this $450 that I just freed up toward my debt? Or is there another spot in the budget that needs more padding, more security? And you know what? Maybe this time there's nothing wrong. I have a lot budgeted for car repairs and home improvements. This time, I just want to take the family on a vacay. So, I mean, this is a small medical loan. It also has 0% interest. So, I mean, I don't need to throw $575 toward this tiny loan every month. Sure could, and it'd be gone before we know it. But I could also start putting aside $200 every month for a vacation. Or maybe 300, maybe like 5. Because yeah, we want to pay our debt off, but we also want to live our lives. And now I'm feeling really financially secure. I know that my expenses are all covered in my budget every month. My 2 biggest debts are gone. This little medical loan is accumulating no interest. So yeah, I'm gonna start budgeting for a vacation and keep making the minimum payment on this. I might throw some extra at it. Maybe I'll put $300 a month toward this, but it's gonna be gone in like 2 or 3 months. So you can definitely see how the Avalanche method helps you save money. If I did the Snowball method in this situation, ooh, this would not turn out good. Think about it. If I started by paying off my smallest loan, it has the 0% interest rate. This should be our lowest priority. But in the Snowball method, we would be paying off the medical loan first. Then we would jump to the auto loan, which is gonna take a while. It's $12,000. Then that means we'd be letting this almost $20,000 credit card with 24% interest. We're gonna be letting this accumulate for months and months. Oh no, 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 no. This is the perfect scenario for the Avalanche method. And don't forget that at any point during your debt payoff process, you could pause and say, wait, I don't wanna throw so much extra money at my debt, I need to pad my budget a little bit more. Or if you've been really focused on padding the budget and building up those true expenses, you could also do the opposite and say, I don't think I need to put this much toward car repairs every month. I'm gonna start sending a little bit of that back toward my debt. It offers a lot of flexibility and it creates really good discipline, which almost all of us need more of, right? And if you really want to slay your debt fast and know how to save extra money or how to pay off your debt by a certain date, YNAB has an amazing loan planner tool. So let's say you have a goal of getting rid of all your debt in 2 years. It's February 2022 right now, so if I select February 2024, it will tell me exactly how much I need to make toward my monthly payment every month to pay off that debt by February 2024. Or if I get a bump in income or realize that I actually have more money to put toward my debt than I thought, then I can tell the loan planner how much I want to pay toward that debt every month. And not only will it tell us when we'll pay it off by, but it also tells us how much we're going to save in interest. So if you're interested, sign up for a free trial with YNAB, play around with our loan planner and see what you're capable of. You can pay this debt off and you will pay this debt off. Just like Jenny in today's YNAB Win. Jenny says, at the end of last year, I fully embraced the YNAB method and paid off 64% of my debt in 2021. My goal is to kick the rest to the curb in 2022, and I have some big savings goals lined up after that. Jenny, sick. So good. Congrats, enjoy your freedom. I love your motivation. You're gonna crush it this year, and I'm pumped. 2022, watch out. Jenny's coming. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Best of luck on your debt payoff journey, and I'll see you in the next video. Sounds cheesy, and I swear, cross my heart, hope to die. It is not just because I don't hope to die. I don't want to see that. I want to hope to be alive. Or, dang it, why did my dog have to eat his own foot? Wait, no. No. Oh my gosh, why is it so hard? Hair, look alive.